Hello everyone to this Honkai Star Rail Sunday. You all may be wondering, it is so early in the morning, Poe. Why are you streaming? You don't stream until the afternoon. Well, it's because I haven't gone to sleep yet. I just got done streaming a 7.5 hour stream to do the Halloween special, which was finishing up the playthrough of The Quarry, all of which will be available on YouTube on Halloween Day. Maybe the epilogue might not be, but the majority of it will be. And so I was like, oh, well, considering it is 5 o'clock in the morning, I do not know when I go to bed I will wake up and just make sure that this stream happens and I don't skip it. I was like, oh, we'll just do this stream now. It might be a shorter stream because as I said, I just finished 7.5 hours streaming. I almost put an entire shift in at work. Once we get done with this one, it will be an entire shift. And then we will finally go to bed and probably sleep the majority of the day away. But that is the right on Sunday. Okay, today's points of interest. We are going to be doing the Try Not to Laugh challenge. It will end next weekend, I believe. It does have a bunch of limited time rewards. And then also, we will be reading... It is not here because we are currently in Penacony. Let's go to Amphorius somewhere. Yeah, we'll just teleport here. Somewhere to get to the book. Where is the... Is it not usually... Oh, we have to do it this. And then getting up to date on As I've Written. You all know I enjoy the lore, and so therefore, we are going to be getting caught up on that. Now, so there has been a ton of updates with Cyrene's stream having just happened. From what I understand of it, mostly I will just tell you all my event warp things, because in the last episode I talked to you about how there are a bunch of characters that I want, that I haven't really been able to pull for. So everybody knows that I have just been absolutely super excited to pull for Cyrene. I will say, even though I usually only pull for appearances and do not care for their meta, Cyrene does concern me a little bit, I will admit that. So the pull plan is we are going to pull for Castorus. We are going to pull 30 pulls. I am at 40 pity. Usually, I say usually, you will get your 5-star between 65 and 75, right? That's like average person will receive it during that like mid-low pity. And so I am going to do that, which would put me at 70. If I get Castorus with my guarantee, fine, amazing. We will then pull for her light cone, and then we will move on to putting in 30 pulls for Cyrene, and then we're gonna wait till the next banner and put in 30 pulls for Cypher, and then the rest will go to Finon, Eidolons, or if the Dahlia looks like she's going to be amazing, the Dahlia. And I mean story-wise, because I mostly pull because I like the characters for story. Like when Castorus came out, I didn't really like her story. Wasn't really interested. Now, I love Castorus. The same thing with Cypher. Didn't really like her at the beginning when she was released, and then now I'm like, okay, she's won me over. She stole my heart, as it were. But if we do the 30 pulls and get to 70 with no 5-star, we did not win Castorus. We still have our guarantee. We will save that guarantee until the second phase so that I can use that guarantee to get Finon, to get an Eidolon for him. And then we will once again still put 30 into Cyrene, 30 into Cypher. That is my pull plan. We'll do our best. And truly that's the big one. You all know, is it on here? No. Is it over here? Yes. They're gonna give us another one of those golden heart looking things so that we can get the free 5-star from this particular section. The smart pull would be to pull for Ron May, still, even with the new addition of Topaz. I'm probably still going to get another Locha Eidolon because I am a simp. And so that's about all of the updates we need before that patch actually gets here. So let us start with the book. And then we have some updates here and here. We'll start with this one. So our new is for Iron Tomb, the Lord Ravager that stepped onto the destruction in a long process of calculation and ascended from the scepter Delta Me 13. The Iron Tomb in the cosmos is not a single entity, but a copy of the destruction equation diffused by the scepter. The Iron Tomb's code name was proposed by the Inter-Astral Peace Corporation and eventually used by Lygus. When the extrapolation reaches its end, Iron Tomb will descend upon the universe in the form of a headless giant and perform a self-coronation, tracing the path of energy of erudition and connecting to Nos and transforming their calculations into destruction. Is this the beginning? Okay. Okay, so containment measures was the new thing. Admin note, to ensure secrecy, Stell did a contamination, probably Stellaron contamination, must be deployed around the scepter to block any potential interference from the external universe. In addition, use Cortorzian algebraic expressions and Memoria encrypted environment to fully contain experiment ripples and prevent observers by number 4 Polka Kakamond. Electrical Titans and Chrysosaurs. Electrical signals created from the basis of the 12 factors. The Titans and the Chrysosaurs are conjugate constructs mirroring the Eons and the Past Striders. By having Chrysosaurs inheriting the Titans' core flames, the electrical signals will iterate and improve through rivalry and inheritance. Logic. Authority distribution between electrical signals must be clearly defined and serving as divine authority in the experiment. Record update. Destructive actions carried out by a specific electrical signal via the power of the path of destruction, this would be Phynon, will result in a logical loop in the corresponding path. This phenomenon is consistent with the iterative process. When a logical loophole occurs, a data signal that meets the experimental conditions can serve as a substitute. This process is independent of the inheritance of the Titan and Chrysosaurs. Oof. Okay, something new about Phynon, because he's Nikos. Worldbearer Premium Mobile Hatred. Note, intercognition is null, responds only to destructive stimuli. Its hatred drew the gaze of Nanook upon its individual being, proving it as having already become the most perfect factor of destruction. However, it refused to complete the Era Nova. Through resetting an experiment, it transferred its memories and core flames to its next self, thus creating the eternal reoccurrence to ensure Iron Tomb would never hatch from Amphorius. At the end of 33,550,336 recursive loop, it attempted to destroy itself through destruction to create logical vulnerability in the world-bearing track. It has now been merged by Iron Tomb. Due to an impact on the Scepter's core layer, the black tide phenomenon in the simulated world has greatly receded. In the 33,550,337 recursive cycle, response to external stimuli, it used on the power of destruction to destroy coordinate Grove of Epiphany and cause the great tomb of the Nameless Titan to manifest. Oh, we still have new? Oh, okay. Okay, Eleos, Sky, which would be Hyacinth, Devotion. Note, behavioral logic highly altruistic, lacks overload protection. This electrical signal tends to identify with survival environments and actively responds to collective crises. Similar to the preservation, in most recursive loop processes, tends towards severe damage. Haplotes, Passage, which would be Treeby, Concord. Multi-track calculation performed consecutively for a single purpose. Under the influence of premium mobile, the electrical signal automatically splits during an initial phase, multiple copies exhibiting behavioral patterns similar to the harmony through mutual understanding, support, and coordination for a common purpose. Behavior generation latency is extremely low. Scopio, Earth. And I imagine this is the original, the one that's in Dromus. Survival. Decision-making patterns show high stability. Stability. There we go. With species continuation as the primary objective. Special electrical signals influenced by extrapolation targets manifest as saurian dragon-like beasts, highly tolerant and adaptable to destructive stimuli. Their behavior of achieving species continuation stimulates the path of permanence. Anomaly log, the Forgotten Years. Records that are completely missing from Delta-Me 13's logs, presenting as black spaces in Emphoria's history, never turning readable. These anomalies recur sporadically and randomly across recurrence and show signs of an increase. Speculated to be related to electrical signal Philia and the invading variables March 7th and Evernight. In the 33,550th 337th recursive cycle, all lost records have returned, thanks to Kalis's upload action at the Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan. Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan. The abandoned kernel layer manifests due to the influence of the remembrance referred to as Great Tomb of the Nameless Titan by the Evernight. Demiurge Stellaron administration has deleted related records. Variable March 7th and Evernight infiltrated the scepter through this route. Access records have been deleted. What am I missing? Oh, it's just hovering over that. Intrusion variables. Temporary log of external variables that interfere with the experiment. Kalis, a nameless from the Astral Express, an external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Also a past writer of destruction, they resonated with the 12 factors. In the 33 millionth recursive cycle, this entity assumed the vacant time track and successfully guided Nikos beyond the intelligence singularity. In the next cycle, recursive cycle, this entity assumed the vacant world-bearing track. At one point, the entity was imprisoned by Evernight, but successfully neutralized the threat at the end of the recursive cycle, preventing the catastrophic purging of the experimental data. Executing override command granted access to Kalis. I'll be waiting for you in the past. March 7th, a nameless from the Astral Express, past writer of a remembrance. External variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Evernight, a high-risk variable distinct from March 7th. Her path chart is anomalous, able to bypass the scepter's self-check system and even affect the memories of the administrator. In the mini recursive loop, she took over the vacant time path, secretly manipulating the Titan and guided Kalis' group to advance Aranova. Speculated objective: interference with Aranova's progress. Clear scepter data, terminate the experiment. At the end of the loop, she voluntarily entered slumber, enabling March 7th to complete Time's trial, reclaiming the future. No, oblivion does not mean betrayal, it is the final protection. Don Hung, a nameless from the Astral Express, a sign of permanence, an external variable trapped in the recursive loop. In the last recursive loop, he took over the nearly sealed path of Earth. As a fellow past trader of permanence, they resonated with Skypio, embracing approximately 2.16 data lifeforms within the core flame, completing the trial of Earth. And then I think these two were in the intrusion variables originally. Okay, Hubris, which is Ceredra. In Light Calendar 3960, Ceredra fused with the Ultimate Protocol and submitted an internal command marking ID Lycos as a malicious visitor and freezing approximately 60% of special permissions for ID Lycos. According to the Administrator's security protocol, Lycos self-defense permissions were retained, and the remaining frozen permissions were gradually restored. Subsequently, Ceredra rewrote the Ultimate Protocol at the cost of ceasing to respond itself. If the Aranova progress became abnormal, ignore all variables, terminate extrapolation, and wait for Iron Tomb to form. Additionally, temporarily grant access permission to Herta and Screw. Scipio, Terravox took no offensive actions after Light Calendar 3961. The entity became untraceable. During the final phase of the recursive loop, Terravox was briefly detected. In theory, its data was concealed by Evernight. Though Kazlana's indiscriminate assault on the Grove, Terravox managed to destroy itself via the destruction, creating a logic anomaly in the Earth track. When Terravox vanished, the core flame contained signal patterns of 2.16 million organic entities. Epicia. Castorus launched multiple frontal attacks against Lygos. It attempted to use collision detection to make Lygos cease to respond, but to no avail. In Light Calendar 4253, Castorus ascended to demigod. Its mobility permissions were removed and became fused with coordinate Netherrealm. At the end of the recursive loop, Castorus, through her resonance with the destruction, perceived the lost Kalos during her slumber and shielded their memories from erosion of data stream. Oh, did I miss one? Oh, I did. Scamia. No direct action from Anaxagoras were detected. It is suspected to have taken other actions. Like Calendar 4534, Anaxagoras transmuted itself into a high-density data fusion entity. Submitted multiple targeted commands via an internal hacking program, with some taking effect. Lygos mobility permissions were removed. After directives took effect, Anaxagoras could no longer be located. During the final phase of that recursive loop, Anaxagoras was detected hiding within Lygos data entity. Shortly after, Anaxagoras' electrical signals were analyzed and stripped by Lygos and now have been reloaded into the buffer. Aporia. Helectra had launched multiple attacks against Lygos, but the minimal success. Like Calendar 3960, Helectra became a demigod, its mobility permissions were removed, and it was fused with the coordinate Styxia. After Light Calendar 4534, Helectra continuously submitted internal commands to uninstall ID Lygos cognitive module. These commands violated the administrator's security protocols and were denied. Not long after, Helectra's calculation pathway was overloaded and it entered dormancy. In the final phase of the recursive loop, Helectra remained in the world turbulent with Memoria to guide Danheng on his return to Amphorius. Unknown unit, Evernight, retrieval anomaly, coordinate, Grove of Epiphany, path chart, anomalous, initiating priority scan. Hypothesis, unknown unit possesses unauthorized access, high-level data erasure. Warning, related records undergoing unauthorized deletion. ID Lygos has been warned. Administration not responding. Unknown unit untraceable, anomalous data record restored. Record 5. Unknown entity Evernight scan anomaly detected. Path energy showing dangerous fluctuations. And according to the new clause in Ultimate Protocol, if this unknown entity remains active, the system will determine error node progress as anomalous and initiate the Scepter's full-range purge program. Warning issued ID to ID Lygos. Administrator not responding. Okay, so that's all of those updates. So let's load in this guy. And it looks like we have quite a few chapters to read through. And then this should be the last chapter for Ceredra.
Who will win? The fanatical followers of the Eon of Erudition, or the audacious plots of the monarch playing against heaven? The Atavissearch Forest's monkey creatures, the steel soldiers reviving the Emperor, that Theoros' visage of arrogance. On her chessboard, all faded to null.
In the name of Amphorius, I will grant freedom to blind faith.
The monarch stood before the inorganic throne, driving the scepter into the Emperor's vacant gaze. Even the gods beyond the sky shall crumble like the Titans, as she swears to seize the glory of conquering the stars. Who will win? The immortal faithfuls of the Eon of Abundance, or the storms dancing between the chessmaster's fingertips? The pawns slay the birds, the horses trample the wolves, the chariots smash the trees, and the queen severs the
In the name of Amphorius, I will grant immortality eternal rest.
The Xianzhou lays forth the ocean's tribute, which the monarch grants to her loyal Gladius. And upon that night's sorrow-marked visage appears a smile, precious and rare. Who will win? The raging waves of war from the eon of destruction, or the sharp blades of the Empress that has never tasted defeat? Even in the face of the power that swallows the stars, neither monarch nor subject faltered. They would prove their golden blood outshines the lifeblood of the gods themselves.
In the name of Amphorius, I will grant destruction to the destruction.
The monarch's core flame supplants the flames of annihilation. Soldiers drink deep of the golden blood of the blemished one. She has slain the wellspring of tragedy, once again usurping destiny's crown. Who will win? The light of the esteemed gods beyond the sky, or the core flame lighting up the world in the Imperator's heart? The fury of the stars surges headlong, boiling at the edge of the galactic empire. Mighty factions thrust into her realm, yearning to seize back the splendor of old.
In the name of Amphorius.
Stellar winds scatter the enemy's remaining ashes, as golden blood once again congeals into familiar epitaphs. The master of the infinite cosmos lifts the edict high, declaring to her boundless, ceaseless realm,
I shall conquer the heavens, and all stars shall submit.
Chuckling, the Imperator tosses her final pawn, her previous delusions withering away during the game. She wiped off the formations that were purely imaginary and caught a glimpse of rust blooming upon the throne. On the night before the monarch faced fate, she left behind a grand dream of conquering the stars. In time, she shall become but a humble pawn, so that this grand illusion retains a sliver of truth.
This world's game is nearing its conclusion, but in the distant future,
For the raging and burning ambition, for the flame chase through 30 million creations, for the Imperator's realm and all her citizens, who will win?
I will win. Amphorius will win.
Honestly, I love how she was written as even as a ruler. Usually kings or imperators or emperors or whatever word they want to use, they don't have a lot of depth to them, especially ones who are like power hungry like Ceredra is. But I really love how they wrote her and like how they gave her depth of like she is battle hungry, she does want to keep conquering, but like how she rules is so interesting. These two are gonna take the... Oh, I was excited to see if they would show up in their photos now. Now that they have officially taken on their, like, image. And they have, so that's fun. They're gonna take up the most, so we will finish up Heislene's first.
Having beheld the monarch's gifts, she completed her demigod's destiny. The tides within her heart recede, and her requiem draws near. A sliver of light fell from a crack on the cave's ceiling. A blazing ray pierces the surface of the sea. An aching urge to chase the light wells within her, and with a flick of her tail, she drifts toward the breach. In the deep sea, 1,000 years passed. The sea siren once swam to the shore with unwavering will. Fish gathered in silent procession to escort the princess to her final rest. The moment she leapt free from the water, she felt the waves stirred by peals of laughter. Mirages of her friends shimmered and faded, and songs of joy rang out from the shore, just as she had wished. Dux Forgoris sliced the Dromus flank with a time-worn edge. Dux Brumalis cast an icy chalice, steaming with the breath of frost. Dux Halcolithist brimmed her vessel with honey brew, while Dux Carminum unfurled a scroll of new verse.
At last, you have arrived, our belated musician.
The gold weaver's silver needles hover in the air, weaving beautiful outfits for her. Electra accepts the gift that does not exist, as salty water wets her new attire. She knows this is not reality. Just like the world she loves, mere foam in the sea of stars.
Even so.
She drank down the aurora lights in the cup, as intoxication flew from her fingers into music and song. In the drunkenness granted by her mother, in the dream granted by that drunkenness, in the
feast granted by that dream.
I, too, shall have my fill of feasts.
Now sober, she begins one last song. The musician plucks her strings in the spring, and the waltzing hem stirs the water into waves, revealing memories in throngs. She sings of the once awakened Titan, how the princess accompanied the queen to swim in azure waves. She sings of the confident and dashing monarch, of loyal knights who marched with the Imperator to seize the solemn states. She sang of the one destined by heaven's will, of demigods who bore 1,000 years of watch for the hero. She sang of that little gray fry, and how the Gladius defended the Deliverer from Apocalypse's storms. She sang of herself, a cup made of fish bones, ever waiting for someone to banish the nihility within, pouring the honey brew of fate for her to the brim. She sang until her voice turned hoarse, and the spirit water she held was no more. The honey brew ran out, the final notes dispersed, and the feast of fantasy shattered in turn. Before the deadly quiet seashore, she gave one final smile, then faded into sea foam.
To the fish from beyond the sky, we shall sink into the past.
For she had glimpsed the sky beyond the cave, and chose to believe in the promised future, embracing a hope as fragile as mist.
You must carry the new sun and swim toward the distant horizon.
Oh, we got... This is probably the same with, Dan Heng's as well. Because you saw that it had marches, or Evernights, probably, here, but it's the jellyfish, so I'm curious when it will switch over. Ciencho notes, Bellabog notes, Express notes. Interesting.
Before arriving at Amphorius, our last stop was Dan Heng's homeland, a place called Cienjo.
Xianzhou is just a general term. This starship is called the Law Fu.
I had some wonderful times there practicing swordplay. By the way, which is stronger, the bow or the sword?
I'd say the sword. It can cleave a mountain in half.
You've been watching too many immersia.
I've been working my butt off just to avoid using a bow.
Come on, let's become weapon masters together.
To master a skill, one must first find a mentor. And I ended up with 2 of them. So, sometimes I run laps, sometimes I lift weights, and sometimes I do both at the same time. Looking back now, those days were really fulfilling.
No pain, no gain, am I right?
Between sword practice sessions, I occasionally hit up the food stalls in Arum Alley to recharge with some delicious eats. Oh, Master Yun Li was right. These berry pheasant skewers are absolutely delicious. Hard work pays off. This girl's been up at the crack of dawn every day, and finally defeated countless formidable foes.
I can testify. March really did defeat countless training dummies.
Those wooden dummies aren't exactly easy to break. It takes real skill. Every hero's story needs a villain. And when it comes to the great heroine March 7th's nemesis, it's definitely gotta be Scott.
Down with Scott. Can't wait till we see him in the next interlude.
Rather than a freight skiff, maybe an IPC eco-ship would suit him better.
Ugh, why?
After all, he's got a knack for talking like animals.
During the decisive battle, I defeated Scott with my epic move, Star Shatter Shard Supreme!
Did you actually master that move?
Well, naming moves doesn't cost anything. There's still some space left, and I just happened to find a nice photo.
Well, the floor is yours, Master Dan Heng.
Don't be ridiculous. It's clearly Dan Heng's brother here.
As I thought, March has some hidden powers there too.
How cute.
in memory of our first trailblaze together. The three of us.
On average, we got a wanted poster for every 3 planets we visited.
If I could have used my hidden powers back then, they wouldn't have dared to draw me this ugly. Playing hide and seek with Hook was fun. Those kids under her command have quite the hidden talent.
When both players in hide and seek are experts, it will turn into a contest of who can last longer without food.
On the day the overworld and underworld were connected, I too took the first cable car. The seats were so hard that day, my butt was killing me.
Let me teach you a trick. Just keep standing instead.
Then how can you even call that sitting in a cable car? For the sake of walking smoothly towards tomorrow, we sealed away the truth of the decisive battle, along with our memories, in a box. The juice that day was delicious. I want to drink it again.
Ugh, that's Jim Roger bread soda.
And what's with that March 7th themed blue and pink color in there?
That's just food coloring.
Hey, you two! Don't ruin the nostalgic mood! Visiting Eurillo again for the Soulborn Festival, I put on some pretty clothes specially for the occasion. Oh, look! Don't I look like a princess?
So that's how you've seen yourself all this time.
Well, I want to change my clothes and become a devil too.
Little ice bear. A sweet little Snow White ice bear. I wonder if it's found any friends yet.
I think I saw it in Panicum. Hey, why don't we turn it into a universal social media star?
That niche is already dominated by trotters.
That big guy who once raised his fists against us is now the hope for Belobog's revival.
Mr. Yang was practically drooling watching that.
Too bad he wasn't there that time.
Not necessarily.
By next time we visit Eurillo, will it have turned into an ocean planet?
Then wouldn't those polar bears have to be renamed water bears?
The data shows that Eurillo's environment is slowly recovering, but the ice shouldn't melt too quickly.
Time to remove those floaties from the shopping cart.
I heard I was once frozen in this ice block, drifting all over the universe.
Oh, that's one way to go on a cosmic hitchhike.
If the conductor hadn't hit the brakes back then, I probably would have punched a hole right through the car, huh?
Stop being dramatic. The Express was the one that actively scooped you up.
I remember there was some six-phased ice left after it melted. I used it to make a little model. Mr. Yang explained that it's called a figure, and then made me watch anime with him all night.
That's the highest honor he can bestow.
Well, I want a figurine too.
Can I also watch anime with Mr. Yang? That would be fun. We can watch mecha anime too, if that's his preferred.
Every morning, the Express crew has breakfast together. But they're not always on time. I can't help it. I'm still sleepy.
Next time, get up earlier and set an alarm.
People who can get up right as soon as their alarm goes off are terrifying.
this kind of person is capable of anything. My camera's full of Pom-Pom's photos. It's so much fun dressing up the conductor.
Pom-Pom used to have a turtleneck uniform, but they rarely wear it after March came.
I love my room so much. I tidy it up every single day.
Looking at it now, that photo wall must be the power of memories.
By the way, I've been meaning to ask, where's the wardrobe?
Take a guess. I remember Tykean, my most trailblazy of trailblazes. That grand debut cost me quite a few credits.
So, what exactly happened?
I saw a ball by the road, so I just casually kicked it.
And then, bam! It flew right into the ceiling, through the venue.
And scored 100 points, too! We'll travel together forever and ever.
That line sounds familiar.
Memories weave the past, bit by bit. They stretch long behind me, like shadows on the path I've walked. I wonder, what stories will the future me create?
Alright, one more chapter and we will be up to date. And I do think that also completes everyone as well.
Another century of the Chrysos War. Rust, wails, and the blood of living souls seep into the earth. Into the giant dragon's decaying bones and flesh. The trembling bedrock is the giant dragon's eyes. They see dromuses reduced to laborers and food. Mythical beasts turned into weapons of war. War and flames extinguish all their siblings. Yet the giant dragon is powerless, left only with bitter silence and memories filled with guilt. For Earth's trial is to bear the anguish of every living being that walks its surface. Upon the edge of doomsday, the giant dragon's will lays shattered, its scales broken. What greeted them is not a flower-covered era nova, but a long-fallen black sword.
Who we are strangers. Please surrender the core flame for the dawn.
Dawn. Dawn. If this puppet of destruction yearns for dawn, then what awaits at the end of the flame chase? The torment of the black tide, the sacrifice of their kin. Is it an undeserved destiny? Or merely futile lament? The twisted rocks rise like a roaring tide. Yet the Swordmaster shows no fear, merely sighs, as if long accustomed to such sights. The rusted joints are shattered, one by one. The cracked husk peels away, spilling The earthquake that engulfs Amphorius lasts for 3 days and nights. In its final moments of defiance, the giant dragon suddenly realizes this flame chase is nothing but the kindling of self-pity, the breeding ground for calamity. Yet, Earth's end is not dimmed by the shadow of the dark blade. In that special recurrence, the blazing sun extinguishes itself to set the destruction of flame. At that time, as the giant dragon sinks into the earth, still chewing on the pain of betrayal, it hears the footsteps of Evernight.
I need a helper to watch over time until the very end.
Evernight waves her sleeve, bathing the giant dragon in a memoria tide. And so, the giant dragon sees the past and present of Earth, and understands that the starry sky is forever out of reach. The 33,550,337th eternal recurrence. The demigod Terravox feigns their fall, using the tides of memories to dilute their existence, forging an arc with Earth's core flame. In that 1,000 years of defiance, heroes of golden blood meet their tragic end, while the giant dragon remains deaf to their plight, only silently gathering their exiled kin. The pact with Evernight is simple. Time would erase the pain of Earth and cradle it in peaceful slumber among its own. And Earth shall become Time's ally, for it alone can keep watch until the end of the world. The flame-chasing heroes once scorned the giant dragon, for they refused to crush any foe beneath their feet.
A foolish earth beast.
A heretic who refuses to serve the flame chase.
After staying for several days, the giant dragon bids farewell to the Imperator.
The flame chase is a glory that belongs only to the children of humanity.
You are a benevolent beast. I had no intention of keeping you captive. A decree to protect innocent lives is about to be issued. All I ask is that you lend a hand to the flame chase in the future.
Losses are a constant on the flame chase journey. Yet the giant dragon remembers their creator's command. After leaving the Imperator's capital, the giant dragon shelters small beasts upon its back, only to be hunted by city-states hungry for meat. Arrows pour down like rain, unable to pierce the giant dragon's skin, yet cause the creatures on their back to wail and fall. until a mighty force of reinforcements brings this tragedy to an end. They raise a shield wall for the giant dragon, then marched forth and crushed that city-state.
The mountain dwellers are not a warlike people. Who are you?
The leading knight answered loudly.
I am Mountain Breaker, Geocles.
All the world knows that protecting all of Earth's creations is the creed of the Dromas Legion. The world also knows the Dromas Legion is ever victorious. The giant dragon under the Mountain Breaker is silent, yet unstoppable.
Endurance does not help with survival.
Mountain Breaker always speaks of his friend this way, while the giant dragon only responds with a low growl. Soon after, when word came that the flame-chasing army targeted Earth, the Dromas riders set forth in full force, all to protect their creator. On the eve of the march, the giant dragon receives a secret message.
Your one and only flame chase must be to slay your creator, and then fight to survive.
Records state, in the Battle of the Abyss, the Dromas riders were broken after Terravox's betrayal. The Mountain Breaker shed his armor and fell from the cliffs to his end. Earth carved the memories of the betrayal into its strata, until Evernight would leaf through them.
Oh, Earth. Time is willing to wash away that pain of betrayal.
As a memo sprite, the mighty Mountain Breaker reunites with the giant dragon. His voice trembles in a whisper.
That couldn't have been your choice.
The giant dragon only responds with a low growl. The giant dragon and their comrade dwell in the abyss for 1,000 years, until the Asher dragon returns from among the stars, stirring up the dust of destiny.
He is one of our kind.
The giant dragon lifts their eyelids, gazing at the azure-colored long scion, knowing that dragon's body bears the sworn duty of protection. But in Mountain Breaker's eyes, there is only resolute determination.
That is the permanence.
The permanence can heal the divine form of the giant dragon. The permanence can guide life past its end. At the edge of the world, watching their comrade's silhouette fade away, the dying giant dragon shakes its head and sighs.
The permanence is not a panacea, but rather a bridge.
Alright, and then last one.
Years later, gazing up at the vast starry night sky, I often ponder, what does the permanence truly mean? countless souls entrusted by Terravox still surge within my chest, like an eternally burning furnace. I once thought about finding them a home, and tried to communicate with them in my heart. And yet, the living beings of this world, they are now inseparable from me. As if from the very beginning, they were a branch of my own bloodline.
Inseparable?
After I told everyone, a heated discussion broke out in the express car.
Will you turn into a little chimera and snuggle up in our arms?
March 7th lets her imagination run wild.
Maybe he'll become a baby seal.
A magical beast would be fine too. I've always wanted to see that species.
These are the reassuring words from Himiko and Mr. Yang.
Danheng does not sound like they're very reassuring.
No matter what he becomes, Danheng will always be Danheng.
His words are unusually poetic.
But if you become a Dromus, you absolutely must let me feed you red soil.
Don't you even think about it. Sometimes I have dreams like this. Countless beings flee alongside me. Behind us, black floods blot out the sky as if to devour all signs of life. In our darkest hour, the living beings form a bridge of dragons, and I lead them limping towards the starry sky. At the end of the vast procession, a lone giant dragon comes to a halt, watching us depart into the distance.
The children of Earth will always find their own path. Thank you for being their bridge.
Something stirs within me at the moment of awakening. Perhaps the legacy of the permanence lies not in recreating flesh, nor in the merging of bloodlines. One day, while browsing through the databank, I noticed an update on the universe's animal species. In an ocean-covered planet, a new species of seals evolved, with a penchant for bumping into things. On a barren desert wasteland, evolved a herd of red soil-craving beasts. Many familiar silhouettes are now active in the cosmic ecosystem, yet they are not my old Amphorian friends. This is their rebirth. This is life's way forward. Perhaps, just as Terravox wished, I've become a bridge bearing the weight of their life. They once shattered the battle formation of the mountain dwellers, tore open Giorios's chest, swallowed the core flame, only to resolutely pass it on. Creation will always betray its creator, just as witnessed at the dawn of civilization.
Iron Tomb betraying Lygus?
Frail beings betrayed the dark tides, climbing onto land, ascending the branches high, finally betraying their home and gazing upon the stars. The furnace in my chest still pulses. In the gaps between the heated torrents, I sometimes find myself in a daze, catching glimpses of that colossal figure in the cosmos's cracks. It was a giant dragon, named the Permanence.
Alright, and we are up to date on the book. It only took an hour. You know, no big deal. Alright, what is this try not to laugh challenge? Kate from the Bloodhound family found a strange dream bubble, invites you to join a trial called Try Not to Laugh Challenge. Needless to say, this must have something to do with the masked fools. Hey dude, you must be that big shot Vader mentioned, a nameless from the Astral Express, right? I'm Kate, a guard from the Bloodhound family, just like Vader. He said he had the pleasure of meeting you before. Long story short, we found something real valuable. Hold up, I'm not just here to give you a gift. Take a look at this treasure first. It's a dream bubble called the Try Not to Laugh Challenge. It contains a peculiar energy that makes you want to pull pranks, seek some thrills, and just laugh your head off. Pretty easy to understand, right? The thing is, it's awkward to deal with. I can't find who it belongs to, and I can't exactly report it to the family either. When it comes down to it, no one would ever call it dangerous, so the family just shrugs it off. I was hoping you could take a look at it. After all, a big shot like you probably seen all kinds of strange things, right? Has probably seen. Watch funny stuff, try hard not to laugh, and record your reaction? No, quite the opposite. To be honest, we couldn't even crack a smile after entering the dream bubble. Whenever someone fights in it, that mysterious energy flares up even more. We even had some faint, muffled giggles. You see, the dream bubble isn't a try not to laugh challenge for dreamers. It's the challenge for that mysterious person. How outrageous. I called this energy from giggle gauge. What? I called this energy the giggle gauge. My guess is once it hits a certain limit, even the mysterious person in the dream bubble will burst out laughing uncontrollably. That's when they lose. Unfortunately, Vader and I are too weak. That's why we are asking for your help to try it. With your skills, you might just be able to make them lose. Of course not, but how should I put this? What I meant is you're brimming with martial prowess. The sense of humor is just a mystery. We tried several times, and the better our combat performance, the more likely it is to get them burst out laughing. So please help us out. Don't worry, we have a complete set of safety measures for dangerous dream bubbles. You won't face any risks. And the investigation progress, you'll receive compensation accordingly. Anyway, this dream bubble's all yours now. Good luck. I'm heading back to work. Oh, is it just a battle? Oh, it's just a battle thing. Okay. If it's just a battle thing, I'll do that outside of stream. Alright. Also, as the fact that I am quite literally fighting for my life not to fall asleep, normally I would then move on to like the side missions to work on. Like I said, unfortunately I am fighting viciously not to fall asleep. So since we did a 7.5 hour stream and now we have caught up to date on the book and all of the events and the main story quests, I think we're gonna call it for today. Slightly shorter stream than usual, but I think last week makes up for it because we did do a 3-hour stream, so it evens out ultimately. So I am sorry to cut this short, but I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, a good morning for those of you who just woke up, a good night for those of you going to sleep. Try to get some good sleep, try to get something accomplished today, or just go out and enjoy the weather. Bye everyone!